place, but Russia announced today that they're open to sell their natural gas for Bitcoin. So Russia is currently the number one exporter for oil and natural gas, and even with the sanctions placed on Russia by other countries globally due to their invasion of Ukraine, they're still one of the top exporters of natural gas and oil. And the adoption of Russia to accept Bitcoin as payment, I think, is extremely negative for the U.S. dollar because a lot of transactions will be going through this. So settling a deal in another currency, which we've already seen Russia do. I believe earlier this year, both Russia and China settled oil deals in different currencies outside of the USD. But at the end of the day, those currencies were backed by the U.S. dollar. Now that they're open to accepting these excellent. Now that they're open to accepting their sale of natural gas and Bitcoin, I think overall that's just bullish for adoption as a whole, and it kind of really takes a dive at the U.S. dollar. So I think obviously there's a lot of negatives that are surrounding the Russia-Ukraine conflict, but it seems like this conflict is kind of speeding up the adoption of Bitcoin and to a lesser extent other cryptos, because it seems like governments and people all around are kind of seeing the use case firsthand. So what do you kind of think about, I guess, all of this as a whole?
Yeah, so two favorite people to listen to on this are George Gammon and Luke Gromen. I would just search both those names on YouTube. I'm sure you're familiar, but everyone should search George Gammon and Luke Gromen. And they have just really great videos on like what would happen if Russia immediately demanded payment for oil and natural gas in gold. And then George has been like talking, both of them run the thought exercise with gold, and then they subnote Bitcoin across multiple discussions pre this announcement. And so it's been like very good. My like thoughts on this are like the United States has like made bad decisions with using the dollar as a weapon. They've like overplayed their hand, used the dollar as a weapon. People are frustrated. And so people are looking for a neutral currency to do things in, like a neutral currency where you can't be deplatformed regardless of who you are. Okay. And because Luke makes this great point also, Luke Gromen, in one of his videos, he goes, look, because people immediately be like, well, like Russia's being bad. Like this is good. Like they're being bad. And you're like, okay. Like the list of countries that haven't been bad is very, very small. Like if you look back at the last 50 years and like the choices that the United States have made, like it just can't and it circles back to the beginning of the discussion. Our leaders are awkward. Like our leaders are being awkward and being slow and not making good decisions. And that's frustrating. That's super frustrating because like we Bitcoiners have the solution, and it's time for people that don't understand what's happening in the world to move out of the way. Because and so there's all of that. And then there's also, when you get down to like the actual science and math and physics of it, like Henry Ford has the quote of saying that currency should be tied to energy. Like this, and then if you just go through the whole mental exercise of how the flare gas can turn into Bitcoin and can turn a zero into a positive and can make it so that like you can monetize waste. That's like that's humanity stepping forward and solving problems. So if you look at it from the politics perspective of just our leaders are not like being good leaders and aren't like reading the room correctly and are making poor decisions. And then you look at the math and physics and like just logic of having a currency tied to energy makes sense. It's like, this is happening. Like this is the reality of what's happening. And so, yes, like are Bitcoiners positioned to take gigantic advantage of this? Yeah.